Okay, so you know how sometimes you find yourself scrolling and scrolling through articles about the future of food, and there are just so many ideas out there.
Oh, yeah?
Well, you've sent us some really fascinating material about hyper-efficient nutrition, and we're going to try to pull out the most compelling stuff for you.
Sounds good.
Like, what if we could totally optimize what we eat, for efficiency and maybe even longevity?
Yeah, the stuff you sent really goes deep on this.
So it's kind of like a deep dive
Exactly.
into this intriguing possibility.
Yeah, and your material even takes us all the way back to like ancient times and how humans have always been trying to figure out the best way to fuel themselves.
Right. It's pretty wild when you think about it. Like our hunter-gatherer ancestors, they were completely at the mercy of nature, whatever they could hunt or gather,
Totally. And then came the whole farming revolution.
which like completely changed the game, right?
Oh, absolutely. It reshaped societies and how we got our food.
And what's interesting to me is that each of these big leaps forward wasn't just about finding new food, it was about getting more efficient.
For sure. More
Well,
calories per acre,
yeah.
easier ways to store food.
Right. Like humans have always been obsessed with getting the most bang for their buck when it comes to food.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole idea of hyper-efficient nutrition so fascinating. It could be the next logical step in this, long journey of optimizing our food.
You know what's really mind-blowing to me is how each major change built on the one before it, like fire, then agriculture, then trade routes opening up and bringing new ingredients, and then bam, industrialization.
Right. And now we have these super complex food systems.
Like the way we eat today is a result of this long evolution.
Absolutely. And based on this material, we might be on the verge of a radical new chapter.
Okay, so let's talk about this big idea, hyper-efficient nutrition. I mean, when I first read about getting all our nutrients from these special drinks and sauces, it sounded kind of like sci-fi,
Right.
but also kind of brilliant.
It makes you think, huh?
Because think about it, you're getting precisely what your body needs without any waste.
And your material breaks it down really well. Like with water-soluble vitamins, the ones our bodies don't store.
Right.
It suggests we could get those through these carefully designed drinks.
Huh.
So you're staying hydrated and getting those essential nutrients all at the same time.
Like hitting two birds with one stone.
Exactly. And then there are the oil-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K.
Those are the ones we need fat to absorb, right?
You got it. And the material suggests putting them in things like sauces and butters.
So it's not just about making food taste better, you're actually boosting the nutritional value.
And because you're consuming them with fat, it enhances the bioavailability, so your body can absorb and use those nutrients more effectively.
So it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
Delicious and super nutritious.
Absolutely.
Now, the material also talks about these personalized portable meals like wraps and sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just about convenience, it's about customization.
Right. Like imagine being able to choose different protein sources based on your specific needs.
Exactly. Like maybe you need more iron, so you go for a wrap with a certain type of protein that's been fortified with iron.
Or if you're an athlete and need more carbs, you could choose a sandwich packed with B vitamins.
It's like tailoring your food to your individual lifestyle.
It's a level of personalization we don't really have right now.
And it all comes back to that efficiency thing we were talking about earlier. You're not wasting anything. You're getting exactly what you need.
Yeah, it's really intriguing.
Okay, so we've talked about getting the nutrients, but what about making sure our bodies can actually use them?
Ah, yes. That brings us to the gut.
Right. The material talks about the gut microbiome and how important it is for digestion and nutrient absorption.
And it suggests using probiotic supplements with a diverse range of good bacteria to help optimize that process.
Like giving your gut an army of good guys.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because a healthy gut means you're getting the most out of those perfectly balanced nutrients.
Okay, now this next idea is a little more out there.
Oh, what's that?
The material suggests using over-the-counter anti-parasitic medications strategically.
Interesting.
But not because you're sick or anything. It's more like a preventative measure
I see.
to prevent even tiny amounts of parasites from stealing those precious nutrients.
So it's kind of like making sure there are no leaks in the system.
Exactly. Because even if those parasites aren't causing any obvious problems, they could still be impacting how well we absorb nutrients.
And that's not something we typically think about.
Right. We tend to focus on getting enough nutrients, but not necessarily on maximizing how much our bodies can actually absorb.
It's a subtle but potentially important distinction.
Okay, now for something completely different, let's talk about longevity.
Ooh, I love this topic.
So the material you sent looks at creatures that are known for living a really long time and tries to figure out what we can learn from them.
Like, what's their secret?
Exactly. And they focus specifically on the bowhead whale, which can live for over 200 years.
Wow. That's incredible.
I know. And what's fascinating is that their diet consists mainly of plankton.
Plankton. Now, that's not something I'd want to eat every day.
Haha, probably not. But plankton is packed with nutrients, omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and trace minerals like selenium and iodine.
And those minerals, particularly selenium and iodine, are highlighted in the material as being really important for healthy aging.
Right. They play a role in protecting our cells, boosting our immune system, and keeping our thyroid functioning properly.
So it makes you wonder if there's a connection between their plankton-rich diet and their crazy long lifespans.
Exactly. And if we could somehow incorporate those benefits into our own diets.
Well, since we probably won't be adding plankton smoothies to our menu anytime soon,
Right.
the material suggests fortifying those vitaminized drinks and sauces with these longevity-promoting nutrients.
So it's like taking inspiration from nature and applying it to our modern diets.
Exactly.
Which brings us to antioxidants and anti-glycation agents.
Ah, yes, more weapons in the fight against aging.
Right, because if we're talking about living longer, we also have to talk about protecting ourselves from damage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And antioxidants help neutralize those nasty free radicals that can wreak havoc on our cells.
Like little ninjas fighting off those damaging molecules.
And anti-glycation agents target something called glycation, which is when sugars bind to proteins and fats and form harmful compounds called AGEs.
Those are the bad guys that contribute to aging and chronic diseases.
Exactly. And the idea is to include these protective compounds in those vitaminized drinks and oil-based sauces.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach to promoting longevity.
I like that, multi-pronged.
Okay, so by this point, the material's like, why not now?
Right. It's getting excited.
It lays out this really compelling argument for having total control over our nutrition through these drinks, oils, and sauces.
Like knowing exactly what you're putting into your body down to the milligram.
And it wouldn't just be about getting the right nutrients, it would be about eliminating the stuff we don't need.
Like processing and additive.
Exactly. And the material even points out that this system could potentially be entirely organic.
Depending on how those nutrients are extracted.
So it's not necessarily about artificial ingredients, it's about precision and control.
It's about taking a more scientific approach to what we eat.
And honestly, we're already kind of doing this with vitamin-fortified drinks.
True.
This just takes that concept to a whole new level.
Like imagine getting everything you need, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, all perfectly balanced in these core dietary components.
Plus those personalized portable meals we were talking about earlier.
It's a pretty radical vision when you think about it.
So the big question is, if this all seems so logical and potentially beneficial.
Why aren't we doing it already?
Exactly. What's holding us back?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. So to wrap things up, we've explored this super intriguing idea of hyper-efficient nutrition, where we get exactly what we need through perfectly formulated drinks, oils and sauces, and those customized meals.
And we talked about optimizing our gut health to make sure we're absorbing all those nutrients.
And even looked at how we might be able to incorporate longevity-promoting compounds inspired by creatures like the bowhead whale.
And that question of why not now really sticks with you.
It does, because the logic behind having this level of control over our nutrition is hard to ignore.
It really is.
So here's something for you to ponder. As we think about this future of food, what are the biggest obstacles standing in the way?
Good question.
Are they practical challenges like figuring out how to source all these nutrients on a large scale?
Or maybe cost is a factor.
Or could it be something deeper, like cultural resistance to changing our traditional ways of eating?
You know, we're so used to food being a source of pleasure and social connection.
Exactly. So how do we reconcile that with this hyper-efficient approach?
And are there maybe even unintended consequences that we haven't considered yet?
It's a lot to think about, that's for sure.
Definitely. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Absolutely.